Hello, my name is John, and this is going to be my movie review for Steve Norrington's Death Machine. Death Machine was a 1994 release movie, and it was directed by British director Steve Norrington. This movie mostly stars an unknown cast of characters, all except for Brad Dourif. You might recognize him as the man that voiced Chucky in the Child Play movie.
Shut up and drive before I kick your fucking teeth in!
The director of this film, Steve Norrington, got popular for making his first big budget movie, and that was Blade.
It's the day one.
I absolutely love Blade, and naturally I wanted to see what other works of Steve Norrington had made. So I went out searching, and I can only find one movie that he had made prior to making the Blade movie, and that movie was Death Machine. The story of Death Machine is about a mid-level corporate executive that goes by the name of Hayden Kale. She is the do-gooder corporate officer that's trying to clean up a bad PR incident involving one of their company's prototype weapons. The company that she works for is called Shank, and this company develops tons of prototype weapons. One of the top projects is a codename The Hard Man. We get to see the Hard Man in the beginning of the movie. It's a normal man wearing an armored suit, and the man looks like he has had a malfunction. It's odd because at this point to the audience it's not clear if we are seeing a man or a machine. It turns out that the Hard Man is a volunteer soldier. The Chang company links the subject brain to the Hard Man suit. The suit is just armor, but the technology that Chang developed was to hotwire the human brain and have it interface with battle software. So the Hard Man volunteer is more of a flesh puppet, and it's just being run by the battle software. The problem is that the volunteer always has a crash or a meltdown. In the case of the first Hard Man soldier that we saw, we get the idea that the machine just kills indiscriminately. Back to Kale, she has a board meeting with the top executives and she voices out her opinions on the strange weapon projects that Chang has allowed to make. She feels that one person is responsible for these bizarre experiments, and that guy would have to be Jack Dante. Kale seeks Dante out within the Shank building, and she finds his laboratory. Dante sees her in his workroom and demands to know what she's doing there. She hints that she doesn't want him there, but Dante applies some scare tactics on her by revealing that he knows her personal password codes. He even knows how much money she has in her company expense account. She keeps quiet for the moment and leaves. She heads to her office and tries to research Dante's history. All the data that she gathers is not pleasing. It turns out that Dante is an incredibly gifted inventor, a savant of his trade, but also his genius is equally matched by his insanity. Dante's prone to violent outbursts, and on top of that, he is a control freak. There's a moment in the movie where Dante confronts Kale about her past. He knows more about her. He even shows her a pornographic magazine with Kale's face on the cover. She tells him that she was just a kid when she did that. Dante develops an unhealthy obsession with Kale, and he keeps stalking her. While all of the stalker drama is going on, we segue to a band of eco-warriors. It's three men that go by the name of Sam Raimi, Yutani, and Waylon. No, seriously, those are the characters' names. So these three guys are planning a home invasion into the Chang Corporation. They mostly have their eyes set on Vault 10. What the fuck is Vault 10? Who knows? It's important to them. Kale receives a video message from one of the board members at Chang. The message is from a man named John Carpenter. John Carpenter meets her at the door and promptly walks her to the dead body of a recently murdered executive of Scott Ridley. Kale and John Carpenter put it together that this was the work of Dante. The beauty of Scott Ridley's death is that Kale gets an automatic promotion, so that means that she has access to the computer and has the ability to override employee status. So she's fixing to fire Dante, and in doing so, she revokes his employee privileges. Dante tries to anticipate her, but when he meets her again, she and Dante get interrupted by three eco-warriors. The eco-warriors, whose names I remind the audience are Sam Raimi, Yutani, and Waylon, they hold Kale, Dante, and John Carpenter hostage. They want to get to Vault 10. Nobody wants to cooperate with the eco-warriors except Dante, and for obvious reasons. Pretty soon Dante takes advantage of the situation and lets loose the death machine. I have to say that I love this movie, and there are tons of reasons why. If my audience hasn't picked up on my taste, it's pretty obvious that I like anime and science fiction. In the 90s, I was absorbing anything that played out with science fiction or action. Animes like Tenchi Muyo, Project Echo, or even stuff like Tank Police was new and exciting for me. Not only that, even the video games that I played on my PlayStation had similarities. So when I got to watch Death Machine, I got super excited about what it was about. Not only that, but I picked up on the movie references that it was making. We see a lot of this now in current movies and video games. But it was rare to see this much references about the things that I liked. Even Yutani was crazy awesome. I felt that Yutani was the embodiment of an otaku, an anime fan, and this was before we got to see these idiots. He was my favorite character in the movie, even though almost all the time he was getting shot or stabbed. I even like this line he says. Shoryuken! Hearing that in a sci-fi movie in 1994 just sent me off into like this nerdum heaven. I always have a copy of this movie with me in either VHS or Laserdisc, and I have always handed it to my friends so they can watch it. Granted, it was shot cheap, and the concepts of a giant shark-like robot running inside a building maiming everyone doesn't seem unique. Just the style that it has and the fun the filmmakers had making this movie was enough to impress me. So I would like to think this new generation that proudly watches anime and they love video games, they might like this movie. I do like it that people have, they can just cut loose and admit to liking cheesy B movies like The Evil Dead. So if that kind of group probably will like this movie Death Machine. Thank you for watching my review, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more reviews and updates.
You're the man.